Hello plant loving friends, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking to you about succulents. At Groovy Plants Ranch we started this business with succulents. Jared started growing succulents when he was 17 from single leaf cuttings that he was able to grow and sell at flea markets, which turned into his first greenhouse. And lots of years of work later, we're here. But we still love succulents, and it's not hard to see why. They come in a huge array of colors and textures. They are so fun and easy to care for as long as you have the right care available to them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. First, a succulent is any plant that stores water in its leaves. They have adapted to grow in dry, desert-like environments. And in those environments, they are used to a cycle of excessive rain, monsoon types rains, and then being very dry for quite a long period of time. These plants are all from different genus, and they've all been gathered together because of that particular skill of having thick leaves full of water. And here's a science fact for you. All succulents do something called Crassulacean acid metabolism, or CAM, which is just a fancy word to explain the fact that they actually take in the sun during the day but keep their stomates closed, and then at night is when they clean the air and breathe out oxygen. Normal plants have their stomates open during the day when they're photosynthesizing with the sun, and that's when they're bringing in the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. But succulents do it at night to reduce the amount of moisture that evaporates out of their leaves, because if those stomates are open during the day, it's easier for that very hot, baking sun to pull that moisture out of the open stomates. And it has helped them to adapt to all sorts of different dry environments all over the world. I just want to show you a little bit more up close. This is Kalanchoe flapjacks. Fantastic. I really love the yellow variegation in the leaves, and in full sun at the height of summer, these tips turn really pink. It's gorgeous. We have a ruffled Echeveria here. This one's called Pearl. I think that when you fall in love with succulents, a lot of times Echeveria are the first succulent people fall in love with because they are just so gorgeous and colorful and different than a plant that you would normally have in your yard or in your house. And then sort of a gateway to all of the other amazing succulents. Here's a smaller Echeveria. In this group, there's not really any one look or color, and because they're from lots of genus, they don't have similar flowers. There's just such a wacky group of different shapes. This is just your standard jade. This one's has not been trimmed to be bonsai-like, although you can do that. And if you click into our videos, we have a great video of Jared bonsaiing his personal jade with an update at the end about 6 months later to show his pruning and then what it did to the plant. So if you're interested in that, check that out in our videos. This one is a fan favorite, one of our favorites to put in mixed containers. This is sedum, copper tone, and right now it's kind of a yellowy orange, but when you put that in that hot August sun, it is going to be bright mac and cheese orange, and it looks great in a mixed container. Because it has that orange, it really makes a mixed container pop. We also have agaves in this group. This one's Johoke, and cacti. I'm not going to pick this up because it's going to spill gravel, but it is a gorgeous. This is a Peruvian apple cactus, and this is one that will bloom at night. So we have an enormous one in our greenhouse, and it is just about to bloom. It has, I think, 5 or 6 really big blooms about to burst. When it does bloom, that flower happens at night, and it only lasts for one night, but the plant will continue to produce blooms for a period of time. And of course, you can't forget fire sticks. Euphorbia fire sticks. This one in Ohio is a plant that you have to bring in. All of these are inside plants for Ohio, inside for the winter. But in warmer climates like California, Southern California, people use this as a shrub, and it is just gorgeous. Anytime I go to Southern California, I'm always jealous of the plants that they have in their yards, because here in Ohio, we mostly have to have our plants outside for the summer and inside for the winter. There are winter hardy succulents. I'll talk about those in a different video. Now that I've shown you some of my favorite succulents that we have in the greenhouses right now, I want to talk to you about general succulent care. So succulents have evolved to grow in a dry, desert-like environment from all over the world. So you're gonna wanna have a similar environment when you are taking care of them, which means full hot sun and water well, but wait to water again until they're totally bone dry. We always recommend having a hole in the bottom of your pot that's gonna make it easier to water, and that's very important for succulents. So when you take these plants, I like to put them in the sink or use a hose and really soak them until water's draining at the bottom and the soil has clearly soaked up moisture. The pot is heavier. Then you do not water it again until it's completely dried out. So for a pot in this size in the summer, maybe once every 7 to 10 days. A pot of this size, maybe every 2 weeks. And then in the winter, you're gonna go a lot longer in between waterings. As for light, you're gonna wanna put these plants in a full sun environment. At Groovy Plants Ranch, we recommend that full sun means 6+ hours a day of full sun. So in a house, you're gonna wanna put these guys in a window that isn't south facing without any obstructions. That is gonna get you a lot of good hot sun. Or in environments where you don't have cold winters, outside all year in full sun is awesome. Some very hot places like Arizona and the southern tips of Texas and California, a little different. You want to protect them from that afternoon sun, but everywhere else, full sun is good. And if your winters are below 40, they'll need to come in for the winter. And as far as winter care in cooler climates for these plants, you're just going to want to water them less often. So if you were watering this plant every 2 weeks, during the summer, in the winter, you're gonna be looking at 3 or 4 weeks. I don't like to give a specific watering schedule. Instead, I like to say that you need to check your pots because every plant is different. Maybe this plant and this in the same size pot will take up water differently, and this one may need watered more quickly than the jade. So make sure you're checking your plants before you water them. And the cactus, they can go a month to 6 weeks without water in the summer, and in the winter, we maybe water them once or twice the entire winter. There you have it, basic succulent care and why we love them at Groovy Plants Ranch. I love making these videos for you. Leave a comment, tell me what other videos you're interested in seeing, and I'll see you next time.